This is Daisy from the Minimart. Hi Daisy.
Hello.
Can you give us a very quick summary of your career to date?
Yes, I can. I was at Newcastle. I graduated 3 years ago. I'd been constantly interning while I was at Newcastle and in the holidays and so forth, and came out of uni.
What degree?
What?
What degree did you do?
Fine art.
Okay.
So obviously quite different, but still creative, which is why I thought ad industry, that's kind of where I want to be. I'd interned at a production company, absolutely loved it, and thought, wow, how can I get my foot in the door kind of thing.
What was it you liked about it? The people, the industry, the work?
It was the work that comes out of it, and having interned in the production company, I just thought this is kind of the thing I want to be doing. I could see them hands-on creating exciting stuff, and I was like, I want to do something like that.
Did you have any friends or family that were in the industry already?
No, I don't think I did actually.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I've got lots of friends that are now in the industry who graduated at the same kind of time as me, but yeah, no family.
And why did you decide to move to London then from Newcastle?
Because I'm originally from down south anyway. Always loved the hubbub of London. I mean, Newcastle's amazing, it's brilliant, but I love London and I love the buzz and I love the fact that everything is accessible. There's so much you can do, you know, there's no end to exploring or whatever. And I was lined up for a few interviews, came here and thought this is just where I want to be. The job title was Director of Fun. Which I was like, that's perfect, you know, have a laugh.
Was that the job title before they met you, or after they met you they made that job title?
No. I could take kudos, but no, they've always had a Director of Fun. So I was filling someone else's fun boots. And it wasn't a quick process, it was a 3-round interview or something. But it ended up in the pub, which was quite nice. And yeah, I loved it, and I was just so desperate to work here.
How did you find out about the job here? Was it through a recruiter? Was it through a job board?
No, it was through a recruitment agency.
Okay. So when you approached a recruitment agency with a few kind of internships on your CV, were you confident in your ability to get a full-time job at the time?
I was confident that I could probably get a job because I had got lots of experience and I obviously did have my degree, which was helping me. I wasn't confident in exactly where I could go. I mean, I knew I wanted to go into the ad industry, but obviously I couldn't just start, you know, as account exec or whatever, because I had to grow. My degree didn't relate really at all to the industry, so it was about getting in entry level, getting my first rung on the ladder, as it were, and just working my way up from there.
So how important do you think it is for someone to have a degree getting into client services?
It's a tricky one. I mean, it lends itself well for some people, but at the same time, you know, if you don't necessarily need it. If you get the right amount of experience, it's arguably not as important as it used to be. And I know that the IPA are working with the government at the moment to bring in apprenticeships, and you know, that's not going to phase out degrees, but it's going to mean that people can start getting into the industry that much younger, that much fresher, that much more excited, and so forth. So, you know, I think there's benefits to both.
So after, what was it, Director of Fun?
Yeah.
After Director of Fun as a job title?
Yeah. How
long were you in that position for until you moved into account handling?
I was in that role for a year, I think, but while you're, as a Director of Fun, you kind of get full run of the mill. You've got, you've got the opportunity to kind of work in all elements of the agency, which is brilliant, you know. I was helping with people on accounts when I could, I was helping the production, you know, just mucking in, so you really get a whole kind of, you know, you get the whole plethora, you get the whole thing all in one, just trying everything out, which was really good. And
then was it your choice to go into client services because that was the bit you felt most kind of drawn to?
Yeah, no, definitely. I was assisting Dan on accounts, and I was like, I love this. This is brilliant. This is what I want to do. Just how can I get better?
And so you had Dan as a mentor.
Yeah.
How important is it having a mentor when you're first kind of getting into into the industry?
Really, really key. I think unless you've got someone to aspire to, and someone who you can look up to and learn from, then you're a bit sort of lost. You really need those key people that you can say, they're doing what I want to be doing one day, how can I get there? It's really important.
Okay. What's a typical day like for you as an account handler?
Busy, but good. Various client meetings going on, meeting with other agencies if you're working on a bigger project. Obviously, here we've got several big clients, so we'll be mucking in on lots of different accounts at the same time, which always keeps it, energised and different, which is good. And then sort of topping it off, I don't know, with the, drink with the guys upstairs at 7 o'clock or so.
And do you still have, are there still elements to the job and to, I guess, being in client services that you're constantly learning?
Yeah, I think you can never stop learning. I think there's always things you can pick up. There's, if you don't, then you just sort of become a bit stale and you get stuck. And I think you've got to want to learn as well, because otherwise, there's no point. If you love what you're doing, you always want to get better. So yeah, constantly learning and constantly wanting to learn as well.
Obviously, a lot of other agencies have different types of promotions and structures and hierarchy in place.
Yeah.
Obviously, Minimart is fairly small and everyone has a voice here.
Yeah.
But how important is job title and how important is hierarchy and progression for you?
I think it's important to be able to know that you are progressing. So something like a promotion gives you that sort of pat on the back. Yes, you're getting better. You're progressing in your field, and that's always. How frequently
does that happen to you then? Do you have a quarterly, biannually, or kind of annual review of how you're getting on?
Yeah, we tend to have a biannual review, see how you are, how that's going, check you're absolutely happy, and.
Do you set targets of which you then?
We always have. We're constantly kind of updating our CPD and things with stuff that we've done. So we were always having to reach targets. It might be that I want to go on 6 courses this quarter, just to make sure that I'm ever learning and whatever. But yeah, there's always targets that you have to set for yourself. You might not reach all of them, but you can at least have them there so you can try.
And did anyone else start a similar time to you here, or have you been kind of working solo in the role that you've been doing?
No, one of the designers upstairs, he started as an intern and now he's a designer upstairs. And did
you find it easier to integrate into the team because there was someone else starting with you, or did that not really have much of an impact?
Didn't really have much of an impact because, as you know, we're a small agency and everyone is very much, it's very personal, so you know each other and it's very warm and cosy, so it was lovely that someone else was starting at a similar time, but it didn't really have an impact because it would have just been the same had he not been, if that makes sense.
What advice would you give to people who maybe are starting their first job as an account exec and they are starting the same day as another or multiple account execs and it becomes fairly competitive? Yeah. I guess maybe if you've not been in that situation it's difficult to answer the question, but in a lot of the bigger agencies a lot of people start at the same time, and although there are jobs for everyone, what advice would you give people to be successful?
I'd probably, in that instance, if you're one of many, you've just got to get yourself heard and get yourself known. So always be that enthusiastic person that's there and that can help, and that would obviously get you recognised and noticed, so that you weren't just a small fish in a big pond. You were actually a person with a name. They knew who you were, and that's always important. You have to make sure they know who you are.
Would you say it's kind of luck of the draw? It depends on who your mentor is and who's managing you, because I guess you could be a superstar, but you're being managed and directed by the wrong person, and then suddenly you start questioning how good you are and how quickly you're progressing compared to other people, and you feel right for the role.
I don't know, actually. I think it's a lot to do with yourself, and if you've got the kind of confidence already, but obviously a kind of a shadow is always someone you look up to, and I don't think if you don't have that respect for them, that you don't think they're getting you somewhere, then I think that's an issue you've actually got to address rather than kind of let it go. I think you've got to do something about that.
What personality traits do you think makes a good account handler?
Enthusiastic, I've sure said that quite a few times now. Confident. I'm confident in what they say and their opinions as well, not just sort of kind of in a room with a lot of people. You've got to know what you think is right as well. You know, always wanting to learn, just with a smile on your face, because if you don't have a smile, then no one's going to want to work with you.
And how would you say, what words would you say your colleagues would use to describe your attributes?
Oh dear, I don't know. Probably a bit too excitable. Generally quite keen, and supportive, I hope. I hope they'd say that I kind of help them.
For you, what's the best thing about agency life?
Best thing, I mean, this agency life is the only experience I've ever had of an agency so far. And the best thing about this agency would be probably when work comes in and then you've been working on it, you've been spending a lot of time on it, and then you see it in the real world, and you can appreciate kind of how brilliant it is, and you can celebrate as all together, which is a really, really nice kind of sensation when you can actually say, look what we've done, it's amazing.
I guess there's a perception when you're entering the client service sector that you have to be of a particular age, and obviously this industry is a fairly young industry.
Yeah.
What advice would you give people that are more mature, who might be looking to move over and take maybe a career change into account handling?
I mean, I'm not too sure actually. What advice would I give? So an older person trying to get into
maybe tell them a career change, or they want a bit of a change of direction, and they're looking to, or they get told actually they're, after a few years of maybe being a designer, their attributes are more suited to being an account handler.
Yeah.
But it just so happens they're not of a graduate age. What advice would you give to those?
I mean, the first thing to do would be to go and, just before you kind of commit to that, go and talk to your employer or whatever and say, look, I'm really happy here, but I think there's something I quite want to do elsewhere, and maybe try and do like an internship, a 2-week internship. It doesn't really matter what age you are. I mean, I know that they're promoting them through a magazine at the moment is promoting the older intern, I think they called it, and it's basically I think it's geared for women at the moment, but it's women who are about 35, they're really successful in what they do. They might work in retail, they might work in PR, but actually their real calling is, for example, client services, and they go and they have a 2-week internship and they say, actually this is where I want to be, and then they can, you know, apply for the jobs for that because they've got the experience and they've made a few contacts. But yeah, I think it's about having a taster before you commit wholly, because you don't want to leave something behind if you're not quite sure. You think you might want to do it, but you need to be sure.
I think it's fair to say that the majority of account handlers in this industry are women.
Yeah.
Have you got any advice for guys that are considering moving into? Have you got any advice for guys that are considering moving into account handling?
I think guys can be just as brilliant account handlers as girls. I think it's good to have a balance. I think, you know, I mean, obviously all brands have more male orientated and more female orientated kind of ethoses, but I think you can, you know, you can do both. It doesn't make a difference, but perhaps sometimes if, you know, there are masses of male brands you're working on, perhaps that's when you do need a bit of a male tone of voice. You do need their input to kind of help.
If you weren't in this industry, what do you think you'd be doing?
Trying to get into it.
Okay. And what's the best brand you've worked on so far, and why?
Best brand. I'm working on a brand at the moment which I'm absolutely loving, but I probably can't say, so that's really annoying.
Is that because you are at the target market for that particular brand?
No, funnily enough, I'm not. I mean, I'm sort of probably slightly younger than the target market, but it's just what we're doing with the brand that I'm really excited about. And I can't say anything because it's all a bit closed at the moment. But yeah, I'm very excited about what I'm working on at the moment because it's different.
Okay. And lastly, before we move on to a quick fire round, what's your favourite ad campaign of all time?
Think Boxes Harvey. I know it's very quaint. I just absolutely adore it. I think it's incredibly clever because it tells a story. It also invokes emotion and it makes you smile all in one. I mean, there's nothing better than watching something on television and just smiling. You you remember it. And at the same time, England is suckers for a good sort of sad dog story, so it kind of fits perfectly.
And did you get that appreciation for that being a good ad when you were in the industry, or did you have that before you moved into it?
No, I don't even think I was in the industry when the first one came out. I just knew I absolutely adored it. And then obviously the new one's been released now, which is equally as lovely.
Okay, let's move on to a quick fire round.
Yep.
A gold medal or an Oscar? Olympic gold medal or an Oscar?
Oscar.
Can line or D&AD pencil?
Can line.
Brightest person you've worked with so far?
Now everyone's going to know.
It's sound offensive or something.
Paul Kenny.
The most creative person you've worked with?
In the industry, as opposed to in the...
However you want to take it.
I'll keep within the industry and within the agency. Tim and Ed.
Best looking person you've worked with?
I don't know. Now I'm going to have to develop an office crush.
Obviously.
Joe Smith.
Okay. Creatives or suits?
I was thinking about this question, and actually thinking about it, it's very blurred here.
Quick fire round, come on.
Okay, sorry. Suits.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Degree or no degree?
Degree.
Retained work or pitch work?
Both.
Web or mobile?
Mobile.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
Both.
Safe. Outsourced production or on-site production?
On-site production.
Don Draper or Roger Sterling?
Don Draper.
And lastly, twist or stick?
Stick.
Thank you very much.